The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode.
The summer of 2015 at 10.
Welcome back to the Brandon Peters Show for a lovely, lovely day in the summer of 2015 at 10 series, a weekend by weekend look at films of that summer and the pop culture that surrounded them. Joining me today from Puck News and The Outside Scoop, which this week is, I think we're a cone now, a special where you get an extra scoop of ice cream if you order it in a cone. Scott Mendelson!
Would you believe that at this exact moment, randomly, my wife and oldest daughter have, out of nowhere, decided to rent and watch The Island for the first time?
The Island? Nice. That's random, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, and we just got to the part where Stephen Buscemi explains that they're clones.
Did you tell them that there is no island?
They found out themselves.
Through what, the trailer for the movie?
Oh, yeah, back in the day.
All right, and with us too from We Live Entertainment, and out now with Aaron and Abe. If you're doing an a cappella off with songs about butts, he's your guy, Aaron Neuwirth.
It's true.
You cannot lie. A reminder with us, just as we do next summer of series, it's up to you. Decade must be 80s, 90s, or 2000s. Keep submitting. Keep going. What are we going to do? It's going to be exciting. We will not repeat one of them. So if you're looking for summer of 93, 82, or 04, just go ahead and listen to the old ones. Or something like that. So,
what if that is the vote? It's overwhelmingly like 93 again.
The summer of
91.
1896 at 1:30.
The cut films from 93, like all the ones we didn't talk. Summer 93 overtime.
Those could be fun one-off episodes if we combined like 4 or 5 movies that you cut out of the list. Just
randomly through it.
Yeah.
Okay. This episode currently takes us through the weekend that was May 15th through 17th of 2015. Agent Double Banks. It's probably this appropriate title for this episode. Yeah.
Took me a second.
There you go. There he is with it. All right. So take some more seconds as we head on into our first segment, which is always the news.
It's been a long day without news, my friend. I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
The Picasso Femme d'Alger, selling it here at Christie's, $160 million. Brett, it's yours. So, it'll be fascinating to see for how long this Picasso will hold the world record for any work of art. It could be a decade. It could be longer than that. And so we really have witnessed a piece of not just art history, but cultural history tonight here at Christie's.
All right. On May 11th, the record price for a work of art at an auction sells for $179.3 million at Christie's in New York. That piece was...
Dogs playing poker?
Close. Aaron?
Oh, I was kidding.
This isn't the Wu-Tang album thing, is it?
I don't know.
Because that's art. I mean, it seems like it's not the answer. But.
This is The Women of Algiers version O from Picasso.
I've heard about this too. Now, remember, as I mentioned, I was working for this site called Rant, which dealt with a lot of modern news and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to be up to date on some of this stuff every now and then.
I mean, it's not too far back now. It hasn't thrown back in our memories. On May 15th, Carl Icahn invests $100 million in Lyft, a ride-sharing service with a Y. Wonder if that ever takes off. Don't know. Stay tuned. Also, May 17th is a big day. A lot happening, including Blurry Face. The 4th studio album by 21 Pilots is released, and it is the first album ever to have every track be gold certified.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Take
impressive.
that, Thriller. Now, I know, comparison to, somewhere after the 90s, big albums just stopped like trying to like an album. Usually, I mean, there'd be 2 to 3 singles, but like you get these albums like Jagged Little Pill or like Thriller or Cracked Review where they like did half the album as singles because it was still going, so they just kept cranking them out. But yeah, to have all of them, that's definitely a digital age thing.
Which is
I would
just,
say.
I mean, I cannot tell you a single 21 Pilots song, but good for them.
Yeah. Well,
I
I know
guarantee-
Blurry
when it-
Face.
if
Come
I
on, you
heard-
know, I just said Blurry Face. And I'm like, okay, I know what song they're referring to.
No.
My name is Blurry Face, and I care what you think. You know that one?
That didn't help.
Oh my gosh.
Like if I heard the actual song, probably that
So,
would help.
when I did this, I knew that song, but then I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what the 21 Pilots sound like because I knew
I guarantee if I
both,
heard
but
the
I just-
songs, I'd
yeah.
probably like see some familiar, recognize it.
Yeah.
But offhand, I can't. That's just I can't do that.
Fair enough. We're the
Same
hip
with-
kids
what's
doing
another
this
one?
podcast.
What's the one from the next Mission Impossible movie? The friction.
Oh,
What's that?
that's an Imagine Dragons song,
Imagine
right?
Dragons. That's another
Yeah.
one where, like, if you tell me the names of those songs, I'd be like, who?
Yeah,
Fuck?
yeah.
But if I
I've-
hear the songs, definitely know them.
I've probably heard a lot of Imagine Dragons songs and don't know it's Imagine Dragons, but
They
I
have
also
like a lot of like singles.
yeah, I also know they're like one of the most like disliked bands by people that
They're in that
they-
like Creed zone of like
Creed,
they seem to be
Nickelback.
very accomplished, but like a certain internet public doesn't seem to like them very
right. Yeah, it's like they, if you go online, it's like nobody likes them, bashing them, but yeah, their concerts sell out, their albums sell a ton, and
They're probably very happy and healthy with their lives.
yeah, like that Patton Oswalt thing where he was like talking about like Nickelback was like, yeah, screw these guys who make music that makes people happy and millions of dollars and get all these babes. Like, yeah, like, wait, what? So, hey, it's all good. It's much more healthier than our next piece of news. The same day, a mudslide hits the alpine town of Salgar in western Colombia, killing over 50 people. Yikes.
Well, geez,
That is
Brandon.
worse.
Yeah. On May 17th, also, Canada defeats Russia to win gold at the 2015 IIHF World Championships. It'd be something if those two countries had something pertinent to this current year we're in talking, right?
By the time this episode airs, one may defeat the other in open combat.
Yeah.
Which one gets Greenland? I'm sorry, red, light, and blue.
Red, white, and blueland?
We're in the axis of evil, so
Yeah.
And don't forget this, the water in between Russia and Canada, the Strait of America.
Straight. Definitely has to be straight.
It's spelled straight too.
Yes.
The only way to spell it. GH. None of this
uh,
I shit.
Let's take that news down a bit with this news. Gunfight between rival biker gangs and police in Waco, Texas leaves 9 dead and 18 injured. 170 later are arrested for organized crime. Yeah. Waco,
Jeez.
Texas.
Waco, Texas, back in the news.
Back we
It's weird when Scott
we're
put
back,
that on
baby.
his Google Calendar as a thing to go to, and then he just
Yeah.
ended up.
Start shit in Waco. It's about time. Then Melbourne Victory Football Club defeats Sydney Football Club to win the Australian A-League. Hooray!
That
Got
cost
from
me
Melbourne.
$50.
And then I put some golf news here for Aaron. At the Tradition Senior Men's Golf Shoal Creek GNCC, Jeff Maggart wins first of 2 consecutive Champions Tour majors with par on first playoff hole against Kevin Sutherland.
I won $25.
There we go. Passing away this week, our deaths, Jeff Giartz, he's a crime novelist. Robert Drasnin, CBS television music supervisor from 1977 to 91. Ruth
I won
Mompati,
$70 in that Deadpool.
Ruth Mompati, the secretary of Nelson Mandela. Bob Hopkins, NBA player and coach. Garo Yepremian, he's Miami Dolphins kicker. Dean, laces out. Dean Potter, the free climber and base jumper, he dies in a wingsuit flying accident at Yosemite National Park at age 43.
I think that's in a doc I've seen.
Yeah. And then
At least he died doing what he loved, plunging to his death.
And most probably notably, B.B. King
Yeah.
passed away.
Again, we wrote articles at Rant covering that and listed things at the time involving him.
There you go. Yeah. And then weddings. We do have weddings this week. We have Spice Girl Jerry Halliwell weds F1 racing team boss Christian Horner. And then Glee singer and actress Heather Morris weds high school sweetheart Taylor Hubel.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you if they're all still together, but...
Well, I can tell you what they want, what they really, really want.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's great when two become one. Which one is how many theaters our first movie is playing in this week? Every Secret Thing.
What are you doing? Ronnie! Are you crazy? Ronnie!
They're home. Ronnie Fuller and Alice Manning. They've been home for 2 weeks.
A child is missing. A 3-year-old. I only turned around for a minute.
Brittany!
Help us find your daughter.
May we come in?
Why do you need to come in?
The 3-year-old went missing.
And we have reason to believe that your daughter knows something about it.
They've taken a child not even 3 miles from where this happened.
These disappearances, they're very different. We'd like to ask you a few questions. I don't know anything.
I'd like to take Alice home. Now.
Why don't you tell me where you were yesterday?
You're not a mother, are you?
Where were you when Brittany went missing? Why don't you do your job?
You and Ronnie were friends, right?
She didn't do nothing.
Something's not right here. Where is she?
I have no idea.
I know something I'm not supposed to know. Are you gonna cuff me?
Found something?
Oh my God. Where is she?
Directed by Amy Berg, written by Nicole Holofcener from a novel by Laura Lippman, starring Diane Lane, Common, Elizabeth Banks, Danielle McDonald, Dakota Fanning, and Tanya Patano. A detective looks to unravel a mystery surrounding missing children and the prime suspects, 2 young women who, 7 years ago, were put away for an infant's death. Yeah. Scott, you had seen this one before, right? Of the 3 of us?
Had.
This was new to me, new to Aaron. So tell us your memories of 15 years ago, celebrating Every Secret Thing.
10 years ago?
10 years ago. Sorry, 10 years ago.
How does this podcast work?
What year is it?
Hope people press play and I hope they get to the end. That's how it works.
No, I had seen this. I think it was a simultaneous VOD theater release. I watched it of my own accord. I remember very much looking forward to it. I like Amy Berg. I like the cast. It's Dakota Fanning, Elizabeth Banks, Nate Parker, Rebirth of a Nation. During that period where he hoped he might break out, with due respect. And
what do you like Amy Berg from?
Documentaries. I think she did The Deliver Us from Evil, but
Yep, that was her notable.
One of the better The Church Fucks Children documentaries of the last 20 so years.
Mm-hmm.
That's the genre they definitely call it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And no, this is very much a what you see is what you get. It's very matter of factual. It's short. It's lower budget, but it still has enough production value to feel like a movie. It is more an acting treat, I think, than anything else. Diane Lane.
Diane Lane, yep.
is very good in it. There's a maternal character that I won't go into details about. And yeah, I enjoyed it 10 years ago for what it was. You can argue that, oh, this is just a feature-length episode of Law and Order SVU, and maybe that's true, but it's a pretty good one. And I like the cast. I found the core mystery / melodrama compelling. It toes the line between not shying away from the, quote unquote, abject horror of what it's presenting without necessarily reveling in it. It plays it fair on both sides of that equation. And it has an epilogue of sorts that has a reveal that I found to be both fair and unusually compelling without being any kind of pull out the rug from under you kind of twist, which it is not. I remember 10 years ago, this was the kind of film that, gee, I hope we get more of these. This is the kind of thing I want to see get a higher profile. That being said, 10 years ago, it came and went, and I'm not saying it's a giant masterpiece, but I enjoyed it then. I'm glad I had an excuse to rewatch it now, 10 years later in hindsight.
Yeah, it's funny. I was watching this and I was looking at Diane Lane. I'm like, man, she really looks good for her age and stuff there. And I realized, oh, when she's in this movie, she's only like 4 years older than me. So it's like, oh, it's just kind of crazy. Aaron.
Meh.
Chicken. Meh.
I call into question certain things that Scott just said, because I know, like, we both are not huge on the film Prisoners from Denis Villeneuve.
Correct.
I like it more than you, as in I like it, at least. I feel like this is doing a lot of the same stuff, and yet you encourage a movie like this, which I think is plain as vanilla as far as everything in terms of presentation, where that movie at least aspires to do things stylistically and has strong performances or whatnot. And it's like, it's not like we got either more of either kind of movie, frankly. It just kind of kept going to VOD after, even with like Gone Girl, which this feels like kind of a waiting game for later in the fall to get a movie like that, which again is a prime version of this kind of a story. I could say that the elements in this are interesting to a point, especially involving the multiple characters that you have, so you get different perspectives on things. But it all just felt really obvious as far as where it was going. No one's especially bad in this movie, so that's not an issue at all. It's just, it's very plain to me. And I don't even think that comes from the fact that I've just seen other movies like it before and since. It just feels like this is an example of a thing that they made in the midst of Big Bang Summer that we have going on here. The main like kidnapping plot at play, it just has no juice. Like, there's just nothing here that like compelled me as far as how this relates to the characters from their past or how it connects to their present. I didn't find much in the mystery that was mysterious. It's just like, I know where this is going just from basic logic. What else we got? And the what else we got could amount to maybe more interesting stuff involving the detectives or the family, but really it circles mostly back to what's the actress name who's Patty Cakes in that other movie? The Australian actress. What's her name? You listed the cast, Brandon. What's the other cast member's name?
Let's see, is it
Danielle?
I didn't have a Danielle. I had the adults on there.
Daniel McDonald.
Daniel McDonald.
Daniel McDonald. Okay, I did have her on there. Sorry.
Yeah, like a lot of it rests on her shoulders to be the best of the bunch, just because she's the most dynamic character, and she's fine. And like, for Hollywood reasons, I can see that, like, I understand why she's not more of a star, because she's been typically very good in the things that I've seen her in. But it's not enough, frankly, as far as the rest of this movie goes. So, like, I watched it, and then like you mentioned, Brandon, neither of us had seen it. I'd never heard of it before. Now, having seen it, I'm like, yeah, that's why. It's just kind of a whatever average-ish movie.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I will say that. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, Prisoners, I think it's very well made. And I will also mourn the fact that films of that nature don't stand a chance in hell in theatrical anymore. My issue with it is, we can talk spoilers for like a 12-year-old movie. It gives away just enough before Jackman kidnaps the alleged kidnapper, that we know that the guy is innocent. Ergo, to me, there's no moral dilemma at play because we know he's torturing an innocent person. So the idea that the film's trying to, what would you do? It's like, I wouldn't do this because with the information the movie's given me, this man is innocent. But anyway.
Fair enough.
We now return to every secret thing. Brandon's thoughts. So yeah, no, this one, I mean, it's 90 minutes. It's a little bit of a long 90 minutes, but I don't know, I was drawn in to it, and I thought the film started out, like you pointed out, Aaron, that this is kind of like blah filmmaking wise, but like it starts out with some promising stuff. Like the cinematography is pretty nice going on. I really like how they frame some of the houses and things. And I'm like, okay, this looks good so far. But somewhere it becomes sort of pedestrian. Like they throw it all at you.
I would agree
early on, because I was like, oh, this one looks nice. I'm like, okay, but I mean, I'm somewhere in the like this is like a fine 3-star. Being generous up from a 2.5 type movie, because I was drawn in, even though it's like you said, there's no surprise at all with this. Both of you had mentioned this, like, yeah. I do think there's some interesting stuff being floated about with like Diane Lane's character, how Elizabeth Banks is handling this happening again type thing. But it also, like, while it's obvious, it does like go down a hole of becoming a bit convoluted, with almost maybe like too much or too like
it's throwing a lot at you without having to say a whole lot.
Like when it gets to the point of like, well, here's this thing, like she was in this institution, and then there's this rando guy, and then I'm like, okay, that's a lot of shit hidden from us that isn't like even touched on until we force in that flashback and start talking. I'm like, okay, this is wild. But how it handles it after is to me was pretty solid, and I like this sort of kind of devious little ending, if not. And calling back to her when we first meet her as like a, I guess, young adult, getting what she is practicing for at the end I thought was a nice little bookend to it. And I think Dakota Fanning's pretty good here, but there's not a lot of her as much as I would have liked to think.
Fairly limited, and I think she is actually pretty good with what she's given. So it's like it doesn't feel like it's much of a split there. That's what I was saying. It leans more on Daniel McDonald's character, and even what you're saying about the end, without going too far into it, it does feel like, I guess it's a comment on the times per se, but there is a sort of, it can't just be we stop the crime or the criminals. But the media, we got to involve that, and how we can, where we can go next. And I know there's a mutual film Scott and I don't like that very much involves that kind of an ending, part of a horror series, where that seemed like a popular way to go for a while, where it has to be, you have to involve this other element.
Let's
find that interesting.
It's full of elements. That's one of the things, and it's not particularly strong at any one of them, but they bring up interesting things. Like there's a great dynamic about Diane Lane's character, how she treats her daughter, how she wants to be in society, and all these things. That's neat. There's Elizabeth Banks' story is neat. Dakota Fanning's story is neat. The one we spend the most time with, maybe like teases you as being neat, but nothing really is.
Well, because the film has to like kind of play coy with where it's going.
Yeah.
It robs us from it can't be Silence of the Lambs, where we have like a definite point of view on whoever may be the most involved in things. Yeah. We just don't. We just have a
right.
Person's doing something.
It feels like it's holding things too long rather than just naturally. There we go with that. But I mean, I didn't hate watching this. This is a movie I watched, was like, that was fine, and I am going to forget about probably.
That's a 2.5-star movie to me. That's
right.
Which is what
fair.
Yeah.
I will say that just only in hindsight, because I did not know who she was at the time, it was neat seeing Renee Elise Goldsberry in for me anyway, a really early film role. before I had any idea who she was.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a very small, glorified cameo, but I was amused nonetheless.
I was happy. I mean, yeah, knowing I've seen her a lot more now, and I never knew about this movie. It's like, oh, okay, she's in this. That's nice.
Yeah. No.
You meant you just because you said Diane Keaton. Has Diane Keaton ever played like a cop, like a detective on the beat?
I don't think so.
She doesn't seem to like spy for Little Drummer Girl, but like, has she ever played like she shows up on the scene, shows her badge, it's me, Detective Jones. I'm here to work the case.
Is that the original cut of Annie Hall?
That's the result of the murder mystery they go on, which we talked about last summer. She's wearing one of her trademark hats. Okay, we should pitch this idea to Diane Keaton. You should play a veteran police officer.
Oh, Diane Keaton has never played a cop.
Would you
go but to, appeared in films with
cop to find that one out?
It was Diane Keaton at cop.com.
Okay.
Oh, and unfortunately, she did not play one in book club the next chapter. So,
okay.
But yeah.
I feel like this is a good idea that we're tapping into here, but we can explore this at another time.
Shelve it.
Shelve it for now.
It's a dream we all have.
That
we can.
If you saw like an NBC commercial where like silver hair comes out of a car, whips around with that hat, it's Diane Keaton. She's on the cop show.
There you go. So yeah, well, I'll see you in my dreams, Diane Keaton. Our next film, which is playing in 3 theaters, triple the amount of Every Secret Thing.
Don't start with the second husband talk. Couldn't pay me.
But they do pay you when they die.
Critics are raving. I'll See You in My Dreams is a polished piece of entertainment.
I want to have lunch with you. What's your name?
Yes.
Your name is Yes?
Sam Elliott and Blythe Danner have a natural, sexy rapport.
I like you a little bit, I think.
It's a bona fide crowd pleaser.
Do you still have any of that medical marijuana?
It's got to warm up.
All right, let's get this going.
I'll See You in My Dreams.
You guys having a party? No.
Rated PG-13, now playing in select cities.
Directed by Brett Haley, written by Brett Haley and Mark Bosch, starring Blythe Danner, June Squimm, Rhea Perlman, Mary Kay Place, Martin Starr, Sam Elliott, Reed Scott, and Malin Ackerman. A widow and former songstress discovers that life can begin anew at any age. Aaron, did you?
Yes.
Did you? Were you familiar with I'll See You in My Dreams, or is this another new one?
I was familiar with it. It's one that I just never caught. It came out and it was an indie, and it just for whatever reason eluded me, and I just never like caught up with it later on Canopy or Hoopla or whatever, which I tend to do with a lot of these movies. I kind of miss out on that I've always wanted to see, and it was largely because I thought it was neat that Blythe Danner would be given a lead role in something because I think she's a very good older character actress. Let alone got Sam Elliott in there. It's like, well, that's money in the bank. Like, so not for this movie, but I mean in terms of my potential enjoyment of it. But no, I never caught it, and I heard good things in general. So watching it now, I was not disappointed. I think this movie's delightful.
Did it make your heart beat loud?
I like for the most part, I like Brett Haley movies too. So it's not surprising to me. I think he makes sort of adult comedy dramas that typically work for me, and a few other ones here or there that were like, oh, these are actually pretty cool. But no, this movie is just really nice. I like it's not reinventing anything in terms of its plotting, but that doesn't matter. It's just more about spending time with these people, and I just enjoy spending time with these people. I like watching Blythe Danner make a friendship with her pool guy played by Martin Starr, and it's nice seeing Martin Starr just be like a regular person,
right? Yeah
because he can obviously play like edgelords and nerds and what have you, but just seeing him play like, I just work a pool thing and I have a band, that's fun to me. I like seeing him in that kind of role. And obviously once Sam Elliott rolls in, it's like, oh, this movie just got demonstrably better. Like Sam Elliott's so cool that he plays a character that's not allowed to smoke cigars, but he just has a cigar on him all times anyway. It's like this is how cool Sam Elliott can be in a movie. I really like this relationship. I like where this movie takes it. where she's playing this widower and he's, just like a bachelor who just sees her and it's like, hey, you know what? I want to take you out. And it's just very simple like that. The Again, like it's not doing a whole lot plot wise. It's just, observing people in a moment of their time, and then, various character actors and performers that I recognize just pop in and out of here, and it's just enjoyable. By the time it gets to an end point, I like where we leave things. There is some subtle emotional beats that I think work really well, including at least one musical moment. Um, yeah, this is just a nice little package. I enjoyed this film quite a bit.
All right, Scott.
I did too. I was vaguely aware of it 10 years ago, but again, it sort of, you know, eluded me, so to speak. But I'm very glad I caught up with it for this. I've always enjoyed films, frankly, about, senior citizens, coming of age stories that are close to the end of life, the beginning of life. Just because I think that's very poignant. Even films that, I mean, Christ, I forget the name of it. It's Luke Wilson ends up at this retirement home with Chris Christopherson and
Yeah, that's gonna bug me. Go on, I'll find it.
It's a bad movie, but the stuff involving Christopherson and Jackie and not Jackie.
The Wendell Baker story.
Thank you, the Wendell Baker story.
Yeah.
That was actually the first time I'd ever heard this. Ironically, I had heard the song "Miss You While I'm Gone" or whatever it's actually called, in a much different context that will be used in another movie we'll be talking about later. But anyway, this is very good. Blythe Danner is terrific in it. Sam Elliott is charming as fuck. I mean, yeah, I woulda. And it's just a really sweet and fun and thoughtful and unpretentious slice of life comedy. And yeah, I mean, it's and again, it's not as like farcical as something more conventionally studio-y like Book Club, which is fine on its own terms, but this is not that.
You don't need to give that.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
You don't need to give it that much credit.
But no, I very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, this is a nice little treat. Nice to see early work of action star June Squibb before she really took off. Yeah, I didn't know much about this one, and it's a lot of fun just watching Blythe Danner go through have these different relationships with people. The Martin Starr one's really cool because, like you said, Aaron, it's a very different role for Martin Starr that I don't think I've ever seen him as. He's always brash and a certain type of person, and I really enjoyed his scenes and moments with her. Sam Elliott shows up for a little bit just to be like, "Yep, can you give us the goods, Sam?" Yep, yes, I can. And I really like this. It's like 3 parts. You have Act 1 with Blythe Danner, Martin Starr. Act 2, Blythe Danner, Sam Elliott. Act 3, Blythe Danner, Malin Ackerman. And the Malin Ackerman one's really good because I always like these things where these kids, like, they don't feel like their parent was anything to them, but then they see what they were to other people and then maybe realize maybe I put too much pressure on what they should be to me or something like that. And that's always a neat little kind of story in the senior citizen realm to see round out and how they play with things. And there's really just a heartbreaking moment when she goes to the hospital to visit Sam Elliott and she's not family. She hasn't known him long, like won't let her in. But just a nice, really good one of these kind of movies done quite well that I liked for sure. But
also, Sam Elliott's boat's called the So What, and it's like that's the perfect rich white person name for a boat. Like it's just enough aggravating, but also like that's pretty good.
Yeah. I also like the scene where all the gang of ladies gets high and Reed Scott. Is this pre-Veep? Is Veep on yet?
This is concurrent with Veep.
Concurrent with Veep. So, that was a fun sequence to watch. It's a tropey thing of having like the old people get drunk or high, but this one played
fine.
really well.
I like the people involved enough where I'm like, I don't mind.
Yeah. So no, this one, and you can it's pretty readily available. I think it's on like Tubi or something like that.
It's on Hoopla and
Canopy. Like, yeah. Definitely one to check out. I'm just not like, oh, hurry out and see. I'll see you in my dreams, but not too bad. Not too bad. Nice little surprise here. But were there any surprises in the ratings this week for TV?
I finally got my first #1 in the Hot 100, and I was ecstatic.
You gotta top the charts to make it here. The Billboard Music Awards, with performances by Sam Smith, Ed Sheeran, Kelly Clarkson, Fall Out Boy with Wiz Khalifa, the hit show Empire, and 2 world premiere duets, Meghan Trainor, John Legend, and Britney Spears, Iggy Azalea, plus a whole lot more. Incredible! The Billboard Music Awards, live Sunday, May 17th at 8/7 Central, only on ABC.
Here's our top shows.
All right.
#1.
The Voice Monday night.
Oh no, that is #6.
Fuck. Tuesday night.
The Voice Tuesday night is #8, 5.8.
Is Idol on?
Idol is on, but it doesn't make the top 10. It's the season finale. Nick Frediani wins American Idol. It's the penultimate season on Fox. So it would be one more year on Fox, and then it would take a year off and then move to ABC in 2018.
Okay.
So #1, it's definitely not The Voice. It's not a reality show.
Okay, so no one can think I can dance this week. Let's see. What is it? Is this a season finale or something? Is that what you said?
It is a franchise.
Is it a Law and Order?
It is. Nope.
It's an NCIS.
Yes, correct. On CBS.
Regular, original recipe.
Regular, the OG. The OG. Then #2, Dancing with the Stars Monday night on ABC. #3, NCIS New Orleans on CBS.
Nolans.
Who's
on the Nolans one?
By the way, that was New Orleans Scott Bakula?
Yes, I believe so.
Or something, or was he a CSI New Orleans guy?
Why do they both have New Orleans shows? I think that can't be real.
I do know. So during this week, huh?
They both had New Orleans.
Let's see. They might have. No, okay. Every CSI. Let's see where they had CSI Miami,
like Cyber,
CSI New York, Vegas. Vegas is the original. So I wanted to note this week on CBS, it does not place, but they run CBS Cyber on like a 2-hour block one night, and then they ran it. And then they ran it like 3 more times during this week. So they were trying to push it, and it wasn't taken.
But that one, but it's called Cyber, but it is set in New Orleans, right? That's what it is.
Let's see.
I watched 0 minutes of CSI, by the way.
Okay, so Scott Bakula was NCIS New Orleans.
Got it.
There we go. It was Scott Bakula. He was NCIS, not CSI. Did Criminal Minds just have one, or are there like a couple of those too? I'm not a CBS watcher, so it's like I'm a Paramount Plus subscriber, but not.
Were there any subscribers or some spinoffs?
Yeah, Suspect Behavior lasted 1 season. I think Beyond Borders.
Did Cold Case ever get a spinoff? Cold Case should have.
That I don't know.
So, okay, so #4.
Wasn't Cold Case a spinoff to begin with, or something like that? I forget. Doesn't matter.
I don't know. So #4, Dancing with the Stars Tuesday on ABC. #5, the Billboard Music Awards on ABC, where Taylor Swift wins Top Artist and took home 7 other awards.
Never reached that level of fame again.
No, that was it. That was the apex. Done. #6, of course, I said The Voice Monday. #7, The Big Bang Theory on CBS. #8, Voice Tuesday. #9, 60 Minutes on CBS. And #10, Grey's Anatomy on ABC. Okay, guys. On Friday night this week,
Here we go.
Fox showed what movie?
Okay.
It scored a 0.9 in the ratings.
X versus Sever. No, wait.
You gotta give us something here.
All right. This is it's a sequel. It's live action and a sequel.
Is it a franchise?
Yes.
Is it the first sequel?
Yes.
Okay. We're getting somewhere.
This is the most random thing for a Friday night in the middle of May.
Is it a Fox movie?
It is not a Fox movie.
Okay. I mean,
I don't know, Matrix Reloaded?
Nope.
Is it like a one lead star or is it like a two-hander?
It has a cast that is based around multiple kind of leads that people like.
Okay.
This franchise really likes its lead characters, and they shouldn't be so attached to them.
One of the Too Fast, Too Furious?
Nope.
No. I think I know where you're at here. I'm trying to think of the movie. Good podcasting. Are the leads of this movie the same as the leads of the previous movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this the final one, or are there
No?
more
Nope. This is not the final one. It's still going.
Still going? Okay.
Still going. I think you guys might have alluded to one of the films in the series during this episode.
It's not Mission Impossible 2, is it?
No.
I feel like we've done that before.
I know, as Scott, you always want to mention Mission Impossible 2.
Of course.
Yeah, this is good. This is good.
It's not a Fox movie, so it's not like an Alien. Or a Die Hard.
What have I mentioned in this episode?
Well, I think there was something with every secret thing that got mentioned about the ending in the media that I think you guys were alluding to another.
Oh, what movie was he talking about? I missed that. I mean,
He didn't mention the movie, but I think when he said another movie around this time, that people felt they had to.
Is this in this decade?
This movie? No.
Yeah. No.
I mean, the first film that comes to mind when I talk about, media this, media that, is that Robert De Niro, Ed Burns thriller from 2002 or whatever.
All right.
Which I don't forget the name of.
The other hint here.
One of the stars of this movie was currently on an FX television show during this time. The lead of such.
FX.
Is this Conjuring? No, that's too late.
Yeah, it's too late.
FX television show.
The movie has a cameo by the actor originally intended to play Freddy Krueger.
Who's that? I have no idea what that is. Wait, no way.
Oh, Scream 2.
There you go. Congrats, Scott.
Oh, I was at Scream, then I danced away from it. Right?
So on a random Friday night on national television, Scream 2.
David Warner was.
I should have just said Scream. There's nothing at stake here. I should have just said no. Timothy Olyphant.
This isn't out now with Aaron and Aim. Nobody wins.
Penalized for games.
Can
Nobody wins.
Cut that down so it seems like I got it faster.
Yeah,
No,
I will edit it to be like, what movie aired on Scream 2? What? All right. So let's move on to another sequel, another 2, Pitch Perfect 2.
The Bellas are back!
We are going to the World Championships. It's been dominated by that German group.
No American American team has ever won.
That's because they hate us. The whole world hates us.
Toss a big button smiles, that girl is poison.
I dug my key into the side of his pretty little four-wheel drive.
Please just retire.
Did your accents get thicker? Is that like a intimidation thing? Because World War II. Boom.
Rated PG-13.
Directed by, returning to this episode, Elizabeth Banks.
Big Bang Summer.
Written by Kay Cannon and Mickey Rapkin, starring Anna Kendrick, Rebel Wilson, Brittany Snow, Haley Steinfeld, Skylar Astin, Adam Devine, Anna Camp, Ben Platt. Everybody's favorite, right? We love him. We love him. Alexis Knapp, Keegan Michael Key, John Michael Higgins, Elizabeth Banks, David Cross, Reggie Watts, Joe Latruglio, and the Green Bay Packers. After a humiliating command performance at the Kennedy Center, the Barden Bellas enter an international competition that no American group has ever won in order to regain their status and right to perform. A plot that could only happen in a movie. So, Scott, last week you were telling us how women aren't funny, shouldn't be directing, and shouldn't be directing. Now explain to us why they also shouldn't have franchises for themselves either.
Well, if you've seen Pitch Perfect 3, you'll know exactly what I mean. No, this, without skipping ahead of the businessy stuff, this film was a classic breakout sequel. It would basically make more on its opening weekend the first film made total in North America. Sort of a Austin Powers Terminator 2 type thing, which I called it the second it was greenlit. If you want to find my Forbes article from like 2013.
Still want that trophy?
What was that?
You still want that trophy for that call?
Yes, damn right I do. And this was a case of a small sleeper hit that legged out and had a big-ish post-theatrical fandom, while also being successful in theaters, like Austin Powers, which again was not a flop in theaters. And then all that earned goodwill just went kaboom on the opening week of the second film. And yes, this was sort of a film that was certainly framed as finally Hollywood is making more movies like this without hurting themselves in the effort, if that makes sense. As for the film, I like it. I think it's my favorite of the three by default. I don't worship the series, but I think it's perfectly enjoyable, more or less. The third one's terrible, but that's just whatever.
It brings that average down, I think, because
it is a crime against humanity.
Because it hates itself. I don't know why, but it's a pitch perfect film that hates itself and it hates its characters and resents its existence. Pitch Perfect 2, on the other hand, is a film that's very much, without being too obnoxious about it, celebrating its existence, celebrating the less conventional success that the first film represented. And what I like about the picture, other than, it's bright, it's exciting, it's fun, it's bubbly, blah, 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 is that it is a coming-of-age story that openly acknowledges that these peer groups that you develop and these extracurricular activities that you fall into don't have to be your entire life. One of the things I like about it is that there's a subplot where Anna Kendrick's character, is doing an internship because she doesn't, the Bellas is not her entire world. It's not in her entire life. She's trying to have a life.
If you're the human being that needs a job. Yes, that's why.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not necessarily normal in these kind of movies. And not only is she not penalized for it, it is it is embraced, and her position in that other company is integral to the happy ending of this film. And I know I'm probably making it sound a lot more profound than it is. It's not. It's fluff. It's goofy fluff. It's bright. It's cheerful. It's got lots of jokes that probably get tagged on the boo-hoo problematic list today, which kind of worked 10 years ago, but it was like we all assumed everybody's heart was in the right place. Who gives a shit? We can debate whether that's appropriate, whatever. Everybody's very good in it, more or less. And yeah, I mean, it's again, this film succeeding to the extent that it did, alongside the other movie we're going to talk about soon, overperforming the extent to which it did, while earning rave reviews and sky high buzz. I remember feeling very optimistic about the film industry this specific weekend 10 years ago, because this felt like, okay, this is what the future looks like. You're getting this homegrown, small scale, female skewing, female constructed franchise film that succeeds on its own merits to numbers as big as, if not bigger than, most stereotypical male skewing franchises. And then you also have the other movie that is much better than it should be and sort of ennobles the idea of doing a decades later return to some franchise that hasn't been relevant in decades and just fucking knocking it out of the park. That would be one of two films to do that this in 2015, one of which is not Star Wars The Force Awakens. But beyond just, my feelings around the film's success and what it represented during a year where it really did feel like Hollywood was finally figuring out that they needed to do more than just take the Taylor Kitsch's of the world and try to turn them into the next Tom Cruises. This film's success was very representative of that in my eyes. 10 years later, obviously, there's a lot of false hope. But the film itself is it's fun. It's enjoyable. It's funny. It's lively. It works on its own terms. And it's a solid 3-star whatever. That in a vacuum, I still enjoy it.
Scott, do you think that the success and popularity of like Glee set up Pitch Perfect to be an extension or made a hunger for it that wasn't necessarily going to be there, like added to it?
It's certainly the first film, which feels a bit more grounded and a bit more, look, I'm not saying it's an art house film by any stretch of the imagination, but it feels a bit rougher around the edges. So it felt more like a somewhat more grounded, real world version of Glee. Well, Pitch Perfect 2, bigger budget, bigger production values. It's a big sequel. For better or worse, the film's musical numbers feel more shot and edited like an episode of Glee. Now, my feeling about Glee is that, say what you will about everything else about Glee, but when that show was cooking on a musical theater level, it was good, unlike anything else on television. So when I say that the song numbers are, some of them anyway, are able to hit on the same level as a decent episode of Glee, that is a compliment. But yes, to answer your question, absolutely. Glee premiered in late 2009, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the first Pitch Perfect came out in, I think, October 2012. It was really weird because even then it was like the first time in ages that a major studio had like released what seemed to be a pretty mainstream movie in like 500 screens. And then it had a great
like a preview
average.
show. Yeah, I remember that because
it was weird even then. And then they expanded it to whatever it was, 1,500, 2,000 screens, and it grew accordingly. And again, that was very strange, just because that wasn't how it was done then. But yeah, I liked it then. I like it now. I think it's more, even if it's just surface level, more entertaining than the first one. I think weirdly enough, for what it's worth, like, what is his name? Skylar Astin? Is that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's like the most supportive, nice guy boyfriend I have ever seen in one of these movies, let alone one of these franchises. I like him in the first film. I like him in this one. I think he's barely in the third one, if I recall.
Yeah.
He's barely in this one.
Don't they like
that's
just
true,
dump him off in the third one and like
they find excuses to be
something.
like, he's busy.
Yeah.
He dies. It's very sad.
He's busy being on a CBS sitcom that gets canceled.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that I liked it then. I like it now.
Gotcha, Aaron. So your thoughts on the movie and why you think that Ben Platt is cinema's best kept secret?
He's his best kept secret because he's so quiet in these movies. He's
Yeah,
just a little like magic guy in the corner, and it's like
he's too shy to talk. He's just looking through a window.
And it's funny because I look at him here and I'm like, I don't dislike this. And boy, is it gonna bite him in the ass when he like expands this performance to his life. But,
right.
I'm not a fan of the first Pitch Perfect. You say grounded, I just say it's a very conventional sports movie where I just don't like Becca in that movie. That's my main issue with it. I think she's a real asshole throughout the movie. and it doesn't like turn back on itself. She just kind of just caves in and is like, I'll be less of an asshole. That didn't make me appreciate that movie, despite it trying to be something different because it's like it's about acapella. Okay, I don't see this all the time. That's something. But it's so like firmly rooted in every convention possible for a typical sports movie. I'm like, this is hard. So the second one, which I saw in theaters also, with I watched the first one with a friend in theaters. And then we're like, oh, there's a second one. Let's go see what the second one. We both had like the same exact opinion. So like, okay, let's see the second one now, which which I believe I saw at City Walk at a press screening. Um, um, I I can't recall my exact opinion when I saw it the first time, but I knew I had liked it more, but I still wasn't a fan. It was just something about this universe was holding me back from appreciating it. And I do find it amusing that John Michael Higgins and Elizabeth Banks, from my perspective, play characters that are speaking into microphones that are connected to nothing. That's how I always seem to That's the way I've always understood these characters. They're just like talking to nobody at all. They just like exist and just show up at a cappella competitions and like comment on them, but nobody's ever listening to them. But that's kind of like where I'm at with this kind of thing, where it's just like I get it's specific and it appeals to a certain group, but maybe it's just not for me. And then the third one we all agree is just a dumpster fire. So rewatching the second one, I rewatched both of them. I still don't like the first one, and it's only reassured my feelings that I think Becca's just a giant asshole in that movie. This second one, though, I like this movie. This got an upgrade for me. Whether I like it more than I saw, I don't recall. But at this, well, from where I'm standing, this gets a solid 3 stars for me. It's a very likable movie. It's very warm. It's a lot of things Scott was saying. It's well directed. This is Elizabeth Banks' first film. Like it's her directorial debut.
Yes.
It's got a lot of energy as far as like, especially compared to the first film. There's a lot of effort to like move the camera around during the scenes and make everything kind of match in a way that looks interesting or dynamic. There's a lot of just stuff there as if Elizabeth Banks was like, I'm going to not just directly, I'm going to prove myself. I'm going to show that I got some chops here, which I appreciated. Um, Becca's not an asshole in this movie, which I appreciate also. I think Anna Kendrick was frankly better in the film because it's not about her being antagonistic towards this group that just wants her to be a part of them, like it offers them friendship. It's like, yeah, now we're all friends. So we're past this whole weird, ugly part of you can't do this. No, we can't. Now there's like, we should be a team. And I enjoy that. I do think the girls in general, the ladies in general, all have good chemistry with each other. They do add the one so like Central American cast member who like is funny in a vacuum, but it's also like these jokes about like how terrible life is across the border. Hey, I can deal. And then John Michael Higgins is like, if you thought I was bad at licorice pizza, I've been doing this all the time.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. It has weird and like Rebel Wilson can kind of get away with it because at least she's like constantly slamming herself as well. And this is, I think, also coincidentally the last time I liked Rebel Wilson in a movie. Um, and then Keegan in this movie is fucking hilarious. I forgot how funny Keegan is in this movie, and he seems like he's just every take is like something different with him. That's what it feels. When like he looks at Beck and he calls his like, "What's your name, Reggie?" Like it just.
He keeps going to Reggie too. Like
he keeps going to Reggie.
He's a good boss who is.
That's the other thing. It's that's what makes it a good performance. He is playing a guy who wants to get a good job out of his employees. And like it's this weird like dynamic of he's saying things that make a lot of sense. Like, yeah, you're in a competitive business and you have to do things that are interesting and different in order to succeed and get noticed. Therefore, I'm going to motivate you to do that. Also going to knock out a number of one-liners back across the board over the wall again and again because I'm Keegan-Michael Key and I'm funny. Like, so it's like that stuff I really enjoyed. No, this movie, it's a winner. Like, it doesn't aspire to much. Like, Scott, you're saying it's fluff, ultimately. It's about a cappella competitions. And the amount of pressure that's being put on these characters for the plot always gets to me to begin with, where like an accident happens that is so detrimental that they're like basically like expelled from the world. And I'm like, for one thing, how is this their fault? Like they didn't do like just the pulley went wrong. And, like I don't know.
Tell that to Janet Jackson.
Well, There's layers there
Don't
that you can
explain the
analyze.
subtext.
I mean, it's there too. It's just like it's such a.
Yeah.
It's the second you start breaking down this stuff, it just like it
No,
gets to be a bit. But
and I think the film is very aware that it's ridiculous, but we need to do
no,
X, Y,
that's
Z
the
to
thing.
get
That's all.
to
That's
it.
all I had to get to. The sequel, I think, works because it's outside of the sports movie parameter thing. It's just like let's just go bigger. Let's go bigger and broader. We'll add more people. Haley Steinfeld's in here. She's obviously she's having a lot of fun. And like it gives you more of the stuff that I think really works in the first movie, which is like big a cappella scenes and competition stuff. So there's a whole centerpiece in the middle of David Cross's character who invites all these different groups, including which I entirely forgot the Green Bay Packers, which is really funny. So no, it's just this is a lot more. This was a lot more fun. I was very happy to revisit this one, and I was like, I'm not going to ruin that joy, so I'm just going to not rewatch the third one because who has that kind of time?
No, and who hates himself that much.
It ends with Anna Kendrick saying, "We have everything we need right here."
Yeah,
Broom Boy.
I went back to this one being like, did I like? I couldn't remember. I was like, I hated the third one. I was like, was the second one like a mild disappointment or what? And I was happily surprised going through this, being like, yeah, I like this one. I do remember. I can't remember the first time I saw this. The trailer for this one in the theater, like I remember hearing every woman in the theater, like girl, just like like it was a huge like noticeable and getting giddy about it. I'm like, oh shit, it's gonna take off. Or the first one definitely caught on. And watching this like. This is dangerously close, and it luckily handles it better. Being one of those sequels that feels like everybody saw the first film and knows what everybody thinks about the first film, and like starts beefing up certain things and playing to fan things a bit more that feel like thrown on here, but it ends up being okay here. It probably goes to hell in the next one because I saw that other one and. Really, that third one.
It plays sequel rules as far as we're doing first again, but bigger and better, or bigger and broader, or what have you.
Yeah,
it's just the characters are already friends, which I like more. So.
But it has some good added. Like, I love being in the middle of like these a cappella battles. Like, they could just do the movie randomly doing that for like an hour, and I'd be like, I got my money's worth. That was awesome. That was fun. And that's cool. But the stuff that adds here is the studio stuff with like Keegan that you talked about that I'm like loving it. And I love the arc that, Anna Kendrick Becca has here where she's in and she, has the stuff where it's like, oh, the Prodigy. But I love it when he comes back and he's like, you gave me a bunch of mashups, man. Like any kid, I was like, oh, this is some real stuff. He's not being a dick. Like, it's realistic and pushes her to other levels. And I love her openness with Haley Steinfeld to utilize like teamwork there. And that stuff all really works for me. The German group is pretty funny too. They don't get overdone and abused. And how they behave.
They're not malicious. It's not like they're like gonna like secretly injure one of them so we can be. It's like no,
they don't cheat. They're just confident.
They're just very good at what they do.
Yeah.
Not since Iceland tormented our beloved Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, this is the and like you said, like this is the movie where Rebel Wilson's a bit much, but at this point we're like okay with it. It becomes tired real fast after it. But yeah, there's very like movie type stuff, but it works. It's got that Rocky thing of having to find yourself and get back where they randomly go to a camp with Anna Camp. Was that on purpose? Just
well, I don't think it's a camp. Like it's a retreat, like a hunting retreat or whatever.
A hunting retreat, yeah. Really weird and stuff, but it
on
works.
Thursdays they play the most dangerous game.
Yeah.
Last week I came in third.
That's why there's no season 2 of that bumper show.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, this is a pleasantly enjoyable movie. I personally, I think I like the first one just a little bit better, but lives up to it. Like that's the thing. Like even pretty much even Stevens for me. Um,
and one of the things sorry, go ahead.
It's a fun, joyful movie, as a movie about a cappella singing should be, in the vein of such greats as Rockapella from Carmen Sandiego.
Indeed. And I like the fact that like Becca's arc is, I might not have my own glorious imagination or ideas, so I'm gonna let this person do that, and I will use my skills to make that better.
As a producer does.
It's
exactly.
It's exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, but and it's they don't have some thing where it's like she has an epiphany and like, I found my song.
Yeah, and they utilize an original "boo" in the finale, and it all works. Yeah, it builds up so well. It's like easy screenwriting stuff, but just to watch it play out.
I was surprised how. I mean, I wasn't like weeping in the aisles or anything stupid, but I was slightly moved by all the previous Bellas showing up at the end. I think that's
no, it's good. The flashlight. It's funny because like the flashlight thing comes in as this random audition thing that Haley Steinfeld does, and that whole thing grows because she does it at the acapella off there, and like it sneaks on you, like it's this sneaky thing that is the whole movie, but you never know it, and it's a pretty clever thing they pull off here.
I agree with you, Scott, as far as this is not the kind of series that I think would earn certain emotional moments for me, and yet I'm watching this finale and being like, this is working.
Because it matters to the characters. It doesn't matter to the fan base.
Yeah.
No, that's entirely fair. Even if I question how Dear Evan Hansen was able to do everything he was able to do. But especially after watching the first one so quickly, it's like they legit get like the past Bellas along with like the legacies with like Katie Seagal and everything. It's like this is nice. I like this quite a bit. I don't know the rules how these competitions work. You just put 70,000 people on the stage at once and be like, that's fair.
And they have to do a dress rehearsal.
I mean, exactly. Like I don't, but
it doesn't matter because I'm watching a movie. If the movie does it, fine.
And there's 100% less Christopher Mintz-Plasse doing whatever the fuck he's doing in that first movie. So I was all about that for this movie. I like that quite a bit too.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, no, it's an enjoyable little film. Much better than Hot Pursuit. So I guess we should give women a chance, right?
Yeah, Scott.
Well, I'm fine with women being funny as long as they're also hot.
Is Banks next film Charlie's Angels?
Her next directed film?
Film. Yeah, her next directed film. Which I didn't mind that one.
It's okay. I mean, I can understand why nobody showed up for various businessy reasons, but
I'll show up for Naomi Scott every time. So,
but she roared back to life with Cocaine Bear. Whatever.
Yeah. Right.
It's a well-directed pick.
All right.
Clearly, has a problem with women directing.
All right. Well, anyway, we'll move on from women directing to some of them singing here for the Ryan Seacrest Top 10.
Broadcasting worldwide from the heart of Hollywood.
The hits and the stars who make them.
This is American Top 40.
Here's your host, Ryan Seacrest.
Here we go. Seacrest with you. The 40 biggest songs in the USA.
This week, number 10, dropping 2 spots, Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran. Jumping in the top 10 for a lot of spots, Nasty Freestyle at number 9 by T-Wayne.
Scott always sings that in the car.
He does. It's in his classics. His CD says Epic Jams with a Z. It's pretty good.
I told you that in confidence, God damn it.
Number 8, Want to Want Me, Jason Derulo. Number 7, Love Me Like You Do, Ellie Goulding. Number 6, Sugar by Maroon 5. Number 5, Shut Up and Dance, Walk the Moon. Number 4, staying at number 4, Earned It, parentheses, 50 Shades of Grey by The Weeknd. He's not going to be The Weeknd anymore, right? He's going to go by his actual name. Yeah. Dropping to number 3, Uptown Funk, Mark Bonson featuring Bruno Mars, which means Trap Queen has moved up one spot by Fetty Wap. And of course, See You Again, Wiz Khalifa featuring Charlie Puth, the jam of the summer. From Furious 7, which leads us to our next Fast and Furious chase here with Mad Max Fury Road.
My name is Max. My world is reduced to a single instinct. Survive. Drive! As the world fell, it was hard to know who was more crazy, me or everyone else.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Fury Road, rated R, May 15th.
Directed by George Miller, written by George Miller, Brandon McCarthy, Nick and Latharus, starring Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron, Nicholas Hoult, Hugh Keys Byrne, Zoe Kravitz, Rose Huntington Whiteley, Riley Keough, Abby Lee, and Angus Sampson. In a post-apocalyptic wasteland, a woman rebels against a tyrannical ruler in search for her homeland with the aid of a group of female prisoners, a psychotic worshiper, and a drifter named Max. All right, Aaron, you're going to kick off this one and tell us why you think this would have been better with Mel Gibson as Max.
Let's not say things we can't take back. I'll say right now, there's not really much we as a podcast need to add to this tale of Mad Max Fury Road. Like,
all right, now the box office for this week was
pretty much.
Like,
no, go ahead.
The movie's legacy is so like secure at this point. I will say, and obviously I'll talk about it a bit, but I will say just right now, just so I don't forget, Blood, Sweat, and Chrome: The Wild and True Story of Mad Max Fury Road by Kyle Buchanan. It's a fucking spectacular making of book that goes over every aspect of how this thing came together, which includes the history leading up to it and everything. It's phenomenal. It's a great read. It's really exciting. There's a lot of great. It's like a giant oral history. Like that's just like 300 pages. Easily worth anybody's time if they want to know more about Fury Road, which also contains a lot about Furiosa because it was written concurrently because they had a whole thing planned. I mean, this is one of the best movies of the decade, one of the best action movies of all time.
Best of the year. This is
the best of the year for me.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
It won so many Oscars to the point where I'm like, is this going to sneakily take the best director? Like, I mean,
no, that was an interesting Oscars. Everybody's like, oh, is this going to happen?
It won a bunch of them, rightfully so. It was the number one on the most critics list of the year. I mean,
it was like what Grand Budapest Hotel did the same thing where it was like, oh well,
this
is how it's going, huh?
Technicals. Same with Dune a couple years ago.
Dude, there you go.
But yeah, I mean, I did watch it again because I don't need much of an excuse to watch Mad Max Fury Road.
Right.
I love the Mad Max franchise. I love George Miller as a director. I think he is a fantastic talent who injects his sensibilities, much like a Raimi. Anything they're doing, it feels like a film of theirs. And George Miller just knocks this thing out of the park. It's incredible. The Road Warrior is also one of my favorite action movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing him do this again at 70-something years old in the desert and make these incredible chase scenes and sustain this level of action momentum and what have you, and put iconic performances and incredible action stunts and this score by Junkie XL, like it's all just comes together in a way that feels impossible, and yet here it is right in front of you. Scott and I saw this at an early screening. Edgar Wright showed up right before. It was like, guys, strap in. You're about to see something crazy. And then we watched it for 2 hours. It's like, that was fucking crazy. Like it's the best. It was incredible. The watching it again this time around, just things that I was like trying to like find that I found interesting. because what else can I really add to the conversation? I there's a section where Max is teamed up with Furiosa at this point. Like they're like on the same page essentially. And they're trying to get out of this whole deal with like all these scavengers going after them, and then Immortan Joe's right behind them. And you have Rose Huntington Whitley as one of the pregnant wives,
Yes.
or the pregnant wife, and there's a bit where they're in chase. Immortan Joe's there, like she's on the side of the car. There's a rock coming, and Immortan Joe's like, "You got to watch out for this." And what I like to spotlight about that is I really wanted to look more at Immortan Joe this time around, especially having seen Furiosa now. There's like some just additional context. Despite the fact that he's this like, sex slave owner essentially that's impregnated women and has all these kind of like crazy things going on, he does like legit care for his wives in a way that I find to be like interesting as a character, where he's like, I'm chasing you down and likely going to kill most of you involved in this, but I want to save these women that I care for, and I'm going to protect the pregnant one that's hanging off the side of a car right now because I don't want to see it. Now, granted, it's more about the spawn, I suppose, as well, what's inside of the pregnant woman. But there's just something there that I just like. He's so angry, and like it's just a neat like. I like this character. I think it's a really interesting villain that I wouldn't mind seeing fleshed out more, and did get to see fleshed out more in last year's Furiosa. And there's bit, I mean, that exemplifies the whole movie. Like, as much as this is an action movie that is on the move and has all kinds of crazy stunts going on, every player involved in this, like when you watch the credits, they'll have names, and it's because they worked out all this stuff. Like, if you looked at any of these actors, they have a backstory for these characters. Like, everyone matters. Everyone has a little piece of information that is special to who they are. And I think that even if you're not getting that information handed to you directly through dialogue or whatnot, it does like make up what this movie is, which is a collection of action, sure, but the sensibilities of a director that absolutely went all out to be like, I want to give you this epic version of what this thing is, contained within a film that's entirely one long car chase. There's nothing else like this for that reason, and that's why this movie is as incredible as it is. I can understand certain audiences that are just like, I had fun with that and I moved on, but there's good reason why it's earned the kind of esteem that it has. And if anyone just wants to, that, might feel the film is slight in story, if you just take a step and look a little closer as to why it's received the praise that it has, it's there. It's there for you to find and explore and appreciate. And that's that's not nothing in the realm of action movies that we get on a weekly basis. This one just has it all. And there's no hyperbole there. It's just that's what it is. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Sure. Scott?
It's okay. I mean, no, I'm kidding. No, I mean, honestly, I went a very long time before I watched it again, for the weird reason that I was so enamored with that initial viewing that I almost didn't want to rewatch it and find out that part of it was a sugar high, if that makes sense. But I have seen it a few times since then, and it's still spectacular. It is, I mean, just an astonishing feat of technical filmmaking. Like, okay, some of it's practical, some of it's CGI, but the important thing is I don't know which is which, and I don't care. It all feels real. It all looks real. I mean, when people complain about CGI, it's usually because, an implicit way of saying, like, I can tell that is not real, and that annoys me. And again, there's a difference between, again, it's not the, oh no, there's too much CGI. It's, oh no, it's special effects work that is not inherently convincing and immersing you in this world.
But also, Scott, I will add, like, there's also, like, when you're told what CGI and you still can't see the CGI, and that's a different thing, too. Yeah. But, like with a Marvel movie, when they're like, hey, this scene where they're at this cafe is, like, CG, is blue screen, and all of a sudden you go back and go, oh, yeah, you can, but with this, you could be told that, and it still works. It's still...
George Miller is also the guy that'll be the first in line to tell you every scene in this movie is augmented in some way by visual effects.
Oh, yeah.
He's not ashamed of saying, right, yes, I used what I had to make the movie I made.
Yeah.
And that's how it's supposed to work. I mean, it's whether you're talking about those invisible effects of any number of 90s Zemeckis films we can think of offhand. But and obviously this film was, if we're getting into, time capsule navel gazing here, this felt very much like a film that was honed in on not just feminist, badass female action heroes, which even by that point was sort of becoming a cliche, but righteous female rage in a way that was very, that yes, the film was spectacular of its own accord, but it also had that working to its advantage. And even the idea that I remember when I first saw it, the fact that the end of the movie has both her and other much older, basically senior citizens waging war as well.
The Volvolani.
Yes, thank you. I don't care. Also waging war right beside her gave it an extra oomph that made it matter. And the last time I watched this, I watched it right after seeing Furiosa. I didn't dislike Furiosa, but I wasn't all that taken with it. So I sort of rewatched this just to make sure I wasn't crazy. And what stood out this time, among everything else, is that yes, it is one long chase, but it is not. It breathes and pauses when it needs to.
Yeah.
It takes its time. It takes a breath. It mourns. It takes stock of what has not been, what's been lost, what's not been won. And what blew my mind this time is the final chase back is like less than 10 minutes. It's not very long, but you've earned so much of the emotional payoffs that you're going to get that it feels like the most epic, spectacular action scene of all time, more or less, even though it's actually a very succinct, payoff. And I remember one of my thoughts, in fact, I even put this in my review. It's like, this is like the definitive false hope movie, at least of that era. Because even then I was sort of starting to get, all these franchises that were never that big in the first place, and now they're coming back to this IP for the sake of IP. And then this one comes out and like, oh, fuck, this is one of the greatest movies ever made. Now I can never be entirely sure, I'll always have a little bit of false hope going into every, and, Creed didn't help. Spoiler, that was the other one I was talking about. But, it was sort of, and it's such a miracle of the movie, partially because, yes, the production was a nightmare. Things didn't go according to plan.
There's another Legacy sequel coming this summer that you're also a fan as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Even that one. I mean, I don't think it's nearly as good as this one.
Sure. But
yeah.
No, I assume we're both talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even that one was like, oh, this is better. That's another one where it's like, anyway, we'll talk about that.
I'd argue, anyway. And I know you're not big on Force Awakens, but this is a pretty damn good year for Legacy sequels, I gotta say.
Yeah. I mean,
well, this is a.
I had my issues with Force Awakens because what I feared was coming down the pike. While I eventually was proven right about that, after watching The Last Jedi, thinking, okay, Force Awakens was maybe a necessary evil. It certainly is better after, as a twofer. And then, of course, everything that happened after that.
It's perfect 3 of Star Wars.
Jesus, yeah.
Pretty much.
But Fury Road comes from the original creator who wanted to make it. Wasn't there's IP for this. The studio greenlights for IP for sake of IP, but this did not come from a place of.
And
it's not like Warner Brothers dug into their book and was like, "Oh, Mad Max hasn't used in a while." He's been trying to make that movie since the '90s.
Yeah,
and I don't know all the details about the making of Creed per se, but even if Ryan Coogler wasn't going, gosh, the thing I want to do most of all is make a Rocky spinoff focused on Apollo Creed's son.
I want to do Rocky 5 right.
That he used. It's very clear that he used the protection of that IP to tell the kind of movie that would not be otherwise be considered commercially viable without that existing brand.
Yeah.
I joke about learning the lessons of the Lego movie, which is that when you have the protection of this brand, you have a responsibility to do something with it. And the one reason I've been such a cranky bitch about Disney over the last couple of years is they were doing that to a certain extent in the 2010s. And that's part of how they got as big as they are. And now they've completely reversed course and capitulated to all the worst people on the internet and frankly in the real world, but whatever.
You say that as Snow White has renewed everyone's faith and everybody is back on board.
Well,
and
that's right. This is an
turned around.
until
it's turned it all around.
Thunderbolt somehow cured cancer. I mean,
yeah, that was wild.
And I don't know. I saw that first trailer. Now I'm all on board for Tron Ares. It's going to be better than Avatar.
Scott, let's not take things we can't take back.
Fair.
That's how we started the episode.
But no, I mean, we're all sort of spinning, at least I'm sort of spinning in circles because, like, how do you describe a perfect movie without just throwing out superlatives? And yeah, Charlize Theron is wonderful in this picture.
Should have got a Best Actress nomination.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, it's I mean, look, I mean, I think Spotlight's a very good movie, so I'm not going to be boo-boo, this didn't win. But there's a half a dozen movies from 2015 that I thought would have been worthy Best Picture winners. A few of them were nominated. Brooklyn, Spotlight, Mad Max, slight spoiler, Spy Was Robbed. But no, this is just an astonishing, miraculous, one-of-a-kind piece of cinema that, in a weird way, ennobles many of the worst trends that we associate with Hollywood just by being so fucking good on its own merits.
Yeah.
And being the kind of good that you can only get by having a big budget and a major studio behind it.
Yeah.
Brandon, why don't you give this a B-?
Yeah.
Yes.
C+. I've changed my mind over the years.
Yeah.
No, this movie is like one of those movies that even, like we say the CG, but when you watch it, every time you're still just, amazed by how it plays out, but it's like it still feels dangerous. And even though it's probably one of the most safe, compared to like the Road Warrior, much safer, and has the crutch of digital effects, but they don't let that stop them, and it just looks and feels like tough and hard. You feel the challenge, and even though they're in the boring old desert in the Mad Max Fury Road and Furiosa world is beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's got life to it. It's fair. And then when they try to parody it in Deadpool and Wolverine, it looks like shit. Like it's not like this isn't what
because it looks like shit.
It looks awful. Like what do you? And they make a Furiosa joke. Like yeah, you're gonna make more money than it, but when people ask what's a better movie, like
Borderlands had better desert shit than Deadpool.
It has color.
It has color. Yeah. But like, yeah, just looking at it, it's got like an orange feel, and it's really cool. Yeah, Charlize Theron's great. Tom Hardy does what it needs to do, and like I know they didn't get along or anything, but he seems to like cede to her more than anything in this movie. Like if he's in a scene alone, he's going to take it, but he's okay with not talking a lot. He's okay with like it very much feels in the vein of Mad Max as established by Mel Gibson.
Very much so. Everyone that complains about Mad Max not being in Mad Max Fury Road enough is like, watch a Mad Max movie. He's rare. He's only the central character in like first movie. Like
which is not the. I mean, it's very good on its own core, but that's not why the franchise is, as well known as it is.
Which we talked about the Road Warrior in summer of '82 at 40. So this is a return to Mad Max here. And yeah, it's an anthology-esque series aside from the first one, which feels like a weird prequel thing they would have made during this time, honestly. And it was actually genuinely the first movie. And, in Thunderdome, he's, plugged into they plugged this guy in this situation, and it's all about people reacting around Mad Max and seeing those people he is.
The politics of those environments, the locations that he's in.
Yeah. And
he inspires those around him to be better, like Paddington.
He's the Wall-E of his time.
Fair,
Oh,
but
God,
yeah,
it's frighteningly accurate.
So no, this is a thrill ride. It was awesome to see on the big screen. Just marvelous, just like whoa, and it also it lent itself to meme culture as well. There's the that's bait thing, and yeah, it was an exciting Academy Awards with this. Where it's like, oh, it's nominated a lot, but then it's like, oh, it's so nice to see something like this recognized when this could have easily gotten passed over.
Because it was it's undeniable. Like it's just that's how good the movie was. Where it's like it's one thing to be like, oh, my comic book movie didn't get nominated. It's another thing to be like, every critic loves this movie more than every other movie that's up for Oscars. Like,
Yeah.
you cannot recognize that.
Right. I mean, before, I mean, yeah, but we did have like there was The Dark Knight when that whiffed on some major things. It's like, even with 10, it could have happened to Fury Road. But the fact it was there, the fact it starts winning during that night, it's just like, oh my gosh, is this going to take? Is this going to sneak up and take Best Picture?
Like I like if it was 5, I think it's in that Lord of the Rings territory where it would just be like there's no question that this is among the best things that happened like to cinema.
And we'd be saying Justice for the Martian.
Justice for them. Yeah. But yeah,
which I also really like.
Yeah, Martin's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a time where we're seeing these old men coming back and making these most energetic because Scorsese around here gets
Scorsese's run in
Wall Street. So. Yeah, he gets Wolf of Wall Street where it's like, man, there's an old guy making this shit. But yeah, I really like this run. I was glad they got a victory lap with Furiosa. That's happy to me that happens with it. But yeah, I mean, we can't. The hell more else can you say about this movie that's been endlessly talked about, praised, and
I mean,
saying the same thing
because there's so many great just bits in this movie when it comes like, and I remember that because I saw it 3 times in theater. That's accurate, yeah. The bit when in the climate in the final chase where there's like we've already seen so much, and then the polecats come in and start swinging around. The fuck is this? Like,
yes.
So many, it's just so the layers they add to like how extreme can we go? We have guys on poles that are bouncing around at 70 miles an hour in the desert. They're gonna grab people. Oh my god, it's wonderful.
Well, and the iconic image of the Doof man with the guitar.
Yeah,
his name?
Doof Warrior. Yeah.
Why is it here? Because it's awesome.
Like, who cares? Yeah, it's like
these explosions that take place. Oh my god, that whole like when Tom Hardy like swings in front of camera and like the wall swing up. Yeah, it's just it's incredible stuff.
Yeah.
That,
One perfect shot, right?
Yeah, yes. I can't emphasize this score enough too. It's so like just gets you going in a way.
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised I haven't heard more trailers rip off this score. Like that's it's if this was the 90s, you'd be hearing the Mad Max Fury Road score all the time because it's like that's how you sell a movie. You mentioned the Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron. That's another reason to read that book. You can hear all about that and that it has a happy ending.
Oh, okay. Very cool. I haven't read that book, but do you like the movie?
Holt takes what could have been a thankless character and does
really
interesting work with it.
Sorry, who? Sorry,
Nicholas Holt.
Nicholas Holt's as Nux it's a great arc. Like, it has real meaning.
Very true. Do you prefer it in the chrome, the black and white, or do you?
There's too much color.
That's what I'm saying.
I like my color films in color.
I admire like what he's trying to say, which is he's constructed a movie where you can strip everything out of it, including the dialogue, and recognize just what a wonder this is to watch. That would be equivalent of a silent era type thing. But he made it for a reason to look the way it does, which is this vibrant. Like, remember when this movie was before it was coming out, and we get like the EW photos or whatnot, and they're all drained, they're all saturated. Yeah. And it's like, I'm looking forward to this movie, but like, this isn't the best sell. Then you watch the movie, it's like, what the fuck are these production photos for? Like, this is so this is
EW
big
never sells them good.
It's such a colorful movie.
Well, it's funny with those black and white movie. Now it's black and white. Like the only one I've preferred over the original is The Mist. Is the only time I'm like, that's way better because Darabont was trying to shoot it that way, and then they told them no, it's color. So
there's a clear tone of that film that makes that work as well as it does. Even Godzilla -1 kind of works in that realm, but I mean, for the most part, I'm just not into the whole. We did. I appreciate the effort. It's not like they just flipped a switch and said, we took the color out. There's like choices made of how to make that work. I know like Mangold's talking about that a lot for Logan. But it doesn't interest me that much to be like, okay.
I prefer my justice to be in color, not gray.
Yeah. Very true. So Scott, how did everything do at the box office this week?
Very, 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 very well as I stall for time, having not opened up a tab yet. Very, 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 very well. There is a minor tradition in the summer season of the weekend before Memorial Day weekend being one of the best weekends to open a big movie. Because if it opens well and the word of mouth is strong, you have the Memorial Day weekend holiday that supplants and buffers what would, whatever the second weekend drop is going to be, and it carries it right through to the holidays. You get basically 13 days of not quite Christmas business, but not incomparable to that. And this year we had two bangers right out of the gate. Pitch Perfect 2 made $69.2 million, which again is, I think, more offhand than the 65 that the first film made in North America in total. It would earn 184 million domestic, 287 worldwide on a 29 budget. Again, a little front loaded, but it's a
when you're
29 million a cappella sequel that opened to $70 million. Who gives a shit?
Is it the biggest live action? It can't be at this point. No, there's probably Marvel movies or something as far as female directed films. And
oh, it might have been at that time.
At that time, I'm sure it was. At that time, I'm sure it was, but at this point,
yeah,
there's too many superhero movies for me to count out anything.
You know what? It wouldn't have been, because 50 Shades of Grey came out a couple months earlier.
And
that was, the first one was directed by, not what's her name? Sam Taylor Johnson?
Yes. Yeah, Sam Taylor, yeah. Aaron's wife.
Exactly. Mazel.
A couple years before Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Also Wonder Woman, yeah.
Yeah.
And number two, Mad Max Fury Road, 45 million over its opening weekend, which again was, I would argue that and now was an overperformance in North America. I mean, we've seen many a legacy sequel and IP for IP, whatever bad things, motivations you might want to ascribe to this kind of movie on paper, that came and went with nary a who gives a shit, because people offline didn't give a shit. This, delivered. This sold itself and presented itself and was an event unto itself, whether you gave a shit about Mad Max or not.
It had this mean towards Tom Hardy and Sweet November Charlize Theron. So I mean, money in the
exactly. Aeon Flux's Charlize Theron with the drops Tom Hardy. This meant war. It would leg out to $153 million $54 million in North America. It did not do all that well overseas. It did not play in China, which could have gotten it an extra 50 to 100, depending on the bumps. But again, studios only get about 25% of that money, so it basically created the illusion of success. But anyway, 150 million budget, made 379 worldwide. Again, it was as much of not really a hit as Edge of Tomorrow the previous year, which made 100 million domestic and about 375 worldwide on a 175 budget. Both very good Warner Brothers sci-fi films. That
alien movie with the cocktail guy?
What was that?
That alien movie with the cocktail guy?
Yes. Sometimes known as Live, Die, Repeat if you're a loser.
LDR.
But I again, both very good movies. I mean, you can argue that they both cost too much, although in this case, I mean, say what you will about the box office, I'm sure they made their money back many times over in the last decade of post-theatrical this and that.
Well, I say it costs too much to who? That's generally my question.
Well, more for Edge of Tomorrow, which was at that time Tom Cruise's most expensive movie ever, at a time when his non-Mission Impossible films were barely cracking, were peaking at 400 million. But whatever. Again, it's not my money. I'm sure over the last 11 years that film has squeaked by profitability.
I don't like. I just get. It always gets me because it's Warner Brothers. They have all the money. I don't have a problem with them overspending on one of their films.
No, and that's entirely
they own Harry Potter. They'll be fine.
Number 3, Avengers: Age of Ultron, earning minus 50%, 39 million in weekend 4, a perfectly okay hold, especially considering the the double-decker whammy of 2 new releases, making well over 100 million this weekend.
Still fatiguing its way to third place, though. I don't know.
Yeah. Rank matters.
Can this franchise be saved?
Rank matters.
In 10 years, Marvel might be in real shit. It had earned about 372 in 17 days, 459 total domestically, 1.4 billion worldwide. Hot Pursuit, 5.7, Weekend 2, minus 59%. A, bad movie. B, got it, everybody showed, the demographics. You're either a stereotypical female audience member who went to Pitch Perfect 2, or you're a woman who, for any number of reasons, went to see Mad Max Fury Road.
The people in Hot Pursuit are definitely the boyfriends that forgot to get a Pitch Perfect 2 in advance, and they're like, "Well, Hot Pursuit's playing."
Hey, look, 2 ladies being funny. They're older, but
Furious 7, the other big car spectacular of early 2015, 3.6 million, minus 32%, 344 domestic so far. It would top out at about 353 domestic and 1.5 billion worldwide, which once again, between Furious 7 basically tying the Avengers and, spoiler, one big summer movie this year making more than the Avengers, Hollywood could have fucking learned just a few years after the Avengers that there's more than one way to build a franchise.
Yeah.
Speaking of franchises, Paw Blart 2 Mall Cop, 3.5 million, minus 33%, 63 million after 31 days of release. Age of Adeline, 3.2, minus 45%, 37 million after 24 days. Top that about 43, which is perfectly fine. Home, 2.6 million, minus 17%. A solid hold. Probably because there just wasn't much younger skewing.
Yeah, there's like nothing.
Or a lot of parents really wanted to punish their kids.
Yeah.
No comment.
Do not doubt that Jim Parsons box office power.
Old Sheldon.
Exactly. 166 after 8 weekends in theaters. Number 9, Ex Machina, $2 million in weekend 6. Dropped 286 screens for 1,718 theaters. Dropped 40% in its 6 weekend. 19.6 million after 38 days. Again, it would top out at about 25, give or take. Number 10, Far From the Matinee Crowd, plus 61%, expanding to 289 theaters in its 3rd weekend. A Fox Searchlight film in the summer? Oh, madness. $1.25 million, 2.5 million after 17 days. And just because I'm curious, it would lay out to about $12 million. And other than that, Every Secret Thing would earn $97,000 in 20 theaters for a 4,851 screen average. It would eventually top out at approximately $124,000 worldwide. Whatever. Obviously, that's not the kind of movie that becomes a box office juggernaut. I'll See You in My Dreams. $52,000, 3 theaters. So a decent 17,000 per screen average. It would leg out to $7.5 million in North America.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Memory, pretty good offhand, is pretty good for a Bleecker Street title.
That's a great number for a 2015 Bleecker Street movie. That's great.
Right.
Yeah. And that is it as far as notable box office stuff.
Okay.
Good Kill. Wait a minute, is that the
Ethan Hawke?
Yeah, that's the drone movie.
It's the other drone.
That was 2017. Yes, the other drone movie.
Because I like Eye in the Sky quite a bit. From X-Men Origins Wolverine director Gavin Hood.
All good in the hood. All right.
Yeah.
Well, okay, cool. Well, that'll do us for this 3rd week of summer. Is it 3rd week? Yeah, it's the 3rd week of summer of 2015 at 10. And till next week, when we come back, where can people keep up with you, Aaron?
Everything I'm doing can be found on my personal Substack page, thecodezeek.substack.com. Movie reviews, podcasts, and more. I host the Out Now with Aaron and Abe podcast. My friend Abe and I discuss movie. It's on a weekly basis, and it's what's now in the summer. What Mission Impossible is coming up, probably. We Live Entertainment. All the movie reviews can be found there, and I'm on all the socials at Aaron's PS4.
All right, Scott.
I can be found at Puck News on a semi-weekly basis, but my main base of operations is the Outside Scoop at Substack. That is my main writing hive. And I also operate a weekly podcast, the Box Office Podcast. New episode dropping very soon after this recording.
Gotcha.
If people listen to this 6 months later.
Hey, you never know. Maybe there will be one.
Yes, myself and other younger, cooler, more culturally relevant box office pundits. We talk about what happened last weekend at a theater near you.
All right. And remember to tell us what summer you want us to tackle next year. So keep hitting us up on the social medias or email or whatever method you prefer. I am on those socials at Brandon4KUHD. Remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. PopCon coming up next month in Indianapolis. Come see the show June 27th through 29th. Come by the live podcast stage to say hello, or the podcast awards. Attend them. They're fun. All right. Next week, we slowly move west to Tomorrowland, where Chocolate City discovers only the headstones had been moved. This and more as the summer of 2015 at 10 continues.
The summer of 2015 at 10.
Thank you for listening. The Brandon Peters Show is a Creative Zombie Studios production. Produced by Brad Shoemaker and Brandon Peters. Written and edited by Brandon Peters. Announcer vocals by Jessica Alsman. Theme song by Metavari. Web design and show art by Brad Shoemaker with Brandon Peters. All music and clips featured in the episode are property of their respective studios, and no infringement is intended. Additional information on this and other episodes at BrandonPetersShow.com. For any inquiries, press opportunities, or sponsorship, contact mail at BrandonPetersShow.com. The show is available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found.